Assalamualaikum. I am Naaila, and I am a contributing counselor here at About Islam. We have a topic today. That's a bit of a new one. And the topic that was given to me today was halal dating. Oh, look at the hearts. I'm loving the hearts. All right. So is it Hussein? Is that, am I saying the name correctly? Assalamu alaikum. So happy to have you with us today. That, as always, if you know one of the things that I like to know, I like to travel the world here at About Islam, and I want to know where people are. I am trying to get myself together and get my questions for today. So let me know. Yes, I said it correctly. Wa alaikum salam, Yunus. That's my son's middle name. Oh, you're from Turkey. Ooh, that's a long way away. All right, so I'm going to get my questions together for today and make sure that I'm clear and I get everyone, get all of your interest in. The other thing is that if you have a question, you can ask it now. You can put it in, you can type it in the comment section, or if you want to leave it privately, you can leave a private message and send it to About Islam, and I'll get it, and I'll do my best to be able to answer it while we are here together. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we've got Turkey. Oh, Puerto Rico, Guyana, Pakistan. Wa alaikum salam. So glad to have all of you here. Well, I am a contributing counselor here at About Islam, and one of the things that I concentrate on is the relationships. And the first relationship you have is your relationship with Allah, and then your relationship with yourself. And from there, it goes out into all of these other relationships that we have with other people. And, we don't even think about it this way. But one of the reasons relationships are so important, because that really is how we're going to be judged. One of the ways we're going to be judged by Allah is, how did we treat people? How did people experience us? How did we love? How did we give? How did we interact? What did we say? What did we not say? All of this is about relationships. So this is why this is so important to me, because I believe that inshallah, we should all make sure that we focus in on how we treat ourselves. Let me back up. How we treat our relationship with Allah, what we do with our worship, and how we treat ourselves, and then how we treat other people. So, and that is what I do. Oh, so assalamu alaikum. So we have someone from Detroit. I've been there. The sister who actually introduced me to Islam. I've been Muslim now maybe about 25 years, alhamdulillah. And she's actually in Detroit. It was a trip to Detroit that while I was in college, that was my first true exposure to Islam and how to live it. Next thing you know, before the year was out, I was taking Shahada. I took Shahada on Christmas Eve. All right, so we have someone from Kashmir. Alhamdulillah. All over the world today. That is so nice. I love it. I love it. Isn't that beautiful though? Isn't it beautiful how wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Yunus. It is a pleasure. It is a pleasure to be able to extend you the greetings. You're 12 years old. MashaAllah. So glad that you are still here, that you're here with us. I think maybe that should be something else that I should ask. Not necessarily how old people are, but what their interests are, so I can get a gauge, because I don't know if you may be the youngest person that I know of, someone who's actually told me, hello, I'm 12 years old and I'm here. So you know what, I'm feeling like, so I might have to step up my game a little bit to keep your interest. Mashallah. So today, we're going to talk about halal dating. And I do have a couple of questions. I have 2 questions. But before I go into the questions, there's some things I want us to talk about. And Eunice, because you are young, if there's something that we miss, when I say we, I mean the parents, elders, and even the older people around you. If there's something that we miss or that you hear, because 12 is still young, you may not be engaged during courtship or married yet, but there may be something that you hear that we may miss, and anyone else here. But I want to give all of you here some feedback in regard to what we miss, and I'm going to do this in regard to a parenting perspective, and then I'm also going to say in regard to people who are just unmarried. All right. So Ameen. Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much, Yunez, and I pray that Allah grant you paradise as well. That is so sweet of you. Okay, so as parents, sometimes the whole concept of ensuring that your adult child or your young adult has proper introductions, it can be time consuming. And when it becomes time consuming or inconvenient, for example, I've seen fathers become very uncomfortable with the number of men who may show interest in their daughter, because she may be, mashallah, she may be a very attractive and endearing young lady, and they become uncomfortable with it. The other part is that I've seen parents not really want to do the supervision part of it. And sometimes, okay, so you mean he wants to come over, he wants to meet us Saturday? Well, I had plans for this Saturday. I don't want to do it this Saturday. And I don't want to do it next Saturday either. It can feel inconvenient. And guess what? It is. Sometimes parenting and the duties and the obligations that come with it are inconvenient. But when you have a young adult who is trying to engage in courtship and getting to know someone for marriage, and they're trying to do it in the correct way, if you don't support that, it gives young people the opportunity to do it in a way that you don't want. Basically, folks start going to the haram and they start doing things that's inappropriate. Not saying that it is correct, I'm just telling you what happens. So when it becomes hard, don't tap out on them. When it becomes inconvenient, please don't tap out on them. If you introduce them to the process and they are trying to work the process the way that you as a parent have shown them it should be done as Muslims, and they then try to follow through, you got to do your part and meet them the other way. That's one of the first things that I've seen has become a problem. The other part in regard to where is it that I've seen that young adults struggle. You can struggle with endurance. And what do I mean by endurance? Because you may meet a couple of people and you're ready for marriage, and you may have had a couple of people that you've met and it didn't work out, and it can become frustrating. It can become so frustrating. The process of getting to know someone for marriage, when we do it correctly and we do our due diligence, it can be time consuming. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, there are two things that we are not to delay. The first one, of course, is we do not delay the janazah, and we do not delay the marriage after we have done our due diligence. And this is the part that people very often leave off. Do your due diligence. It is not meet someone, I think I like them, boom, marriage. No, that's not what it says. Do your due diligence into getting as much information and to letting them know who you are. We always think it's about finding out about the other person. Well, the other person wants to know what's special about you too, and what it is that you're offering. And these things can take time. And meanwhile, while you're working the process, yes, you may not have companionship. Yes, you may struggle with feeling lonely. Yeah, you may meet someone else that you really believed it was going to work out with, and then it doesn't, and it gets frustrating. Yeah, that's what happens. And there is nothing that any of us can do to shorten the process, to make it faster, and be successful. There's a phrase that my mother used to say all the time. Anything worth having is worth working for. And it's true. The things that really come that are worth it. I want you to even think about, Islam and the work and the effort that you put into, making sure that you do the basics, making sure that you do your prayers, making sure that you enjoying the good and forbid the evil. These are the basics, and they take work. They take effort. And so just know that the process of getting to know someone is no different. Okay? So that's my little spiel on that. I'm gonna go and thank you, Yusuf. Making sure. Oh, someone asked me, will I say something about what's happening to our brothers and sisters in China? What I will say is that for all of us to ensure that we make dua for them, that we make dua for their struggle, and that Allah will send ease and give them victory. I mean, that is what I will say in regard to that. Never diminish the power of a dua, and even more so the power of a dua in numbers. Right now we have 12 people here. So if we keep that going and make sure that we do that for them, inshallah. So I'm going to go to the questions now. All right. So it says, I am a young lady and I'm 24 years old and I finish my degree next year, inshallah. And I'm stressed because my mother is giving me a lot of pressure about getting married. And up to now, I have no one to marry. She's giving me a lot of pressure and I'm stressed. I cannot even eat. I have tried so many Islamic dating sites and I have not been blessed with anyone. I need help, please. Well, if I were able to just send someone a spouse, you know what? It would help us all. I wouldn't have been single as long as I was before I got married. I had to go through the same process just like everyone else. So, what I can say, one of the things this is also another one of the things that people who are unmarried deal with. And that is the pressure that you get from other people about being unmarried. And so one of the things that I suggest, and maybe you get out your pen so you can jot this down. One of the things that I suggest that you can say in response to this pressure is this. You're right. If my goal was to be married, I could be married. But my goal is to ensure that I marry someone that I can offer my best self to, and that they will help me to be the best Muslim that I can be. And that's going to take time. Tell people that. That's a shut down a lot of that pressure. Now, I admit mothers do feel like that they have an exemption, and mothers will stay the course and extend the limits a little bit more than many others in regard to what it is that they say. You know, I have a mother who feel, because I'm your mother, I can say what I want to say. And sometimes mothers do feel that way. So I'm being very realistic about the emotional pressure that can come from a parent. But this is still something that you can say, because really, honestly, that's my hope, that that's what you're doing. My hope is that you really are, inshallah, looking for someone that is going to help you be your best Islamic self, and meeting this person and making sure that you offer that to them. Oh man, that's not a quick fix. That's not going to be as simple as, you know, clicking my mouse and making sure I click the right person on an Islamic matchmaking site. It's going to take more. After you click, you still have to do the due diligence, inshallah. Okay, so that's one of the first things. The second thing is I'm going to ask you, do you want to be married to this woman who sent this question in? It may not be that that's where your focus is right now. You know, I remember when I was in graduate school to be a counselor. I was working on my counseling degree, and I remained single the entire time. For me, I really couldn't give a marriage or, you know, a husband the attention that it required at the time, and I didn't believe that it was going to be fair to anyone. So I waited until afterwards. And so I'm going to ask you, and I don't know what it is that you're studying. So is this the right time to introduce a person to your life? And to be fair and realistic about that question, because it's not fair to show interest in someone, to say you have interest in someone, and you know that you do not have the time and the care at the time to give them the care and the consideration to even follow through with the process of letting them know what you offer as a husband or a wife. So that's the first thing I wanted to ask yourself. Secondly, you know, again, in regard to your mother, that's something that you could say, what I suggested before. The other thing is that perhaps ask your mother, for what reason is it important for me to be married now to you? Sometimes it's cultural. Sometimes she's worried it's not going to happen. Sometimes it's because it was a goal that she had for herself when she was your age. Find out what her motivation is behind it. And perhaps it will give you some insight into the reasons she is even responding the way to you that she is. But I will say, you know, pressure comes from so many different places in this world. And a part of being an adult is that we do have to be able to handle the pressure without succumbing to the pressure, without giving in to the pressure. Because I have worked with many young couples, you know, who got married because I thought it was what my parents wanted me to do. And they did marry, but it really wasn't what they wanted, and it really wasn't the best time for that to happen for them in their lives at that time. Okay? All right, so let me go to the next question. I met someone 3 years ago while I was seeing someone else. And even though I was in the process of breaking breaking up a relationship, I was not ready to start dating someone else. But he showed me so much interest, and it was hard for me to say no. So I eventually decided to get to know him, even though my breakup with the other relationship was not yet finalized. And the more time I was spending to get to know him, I liked him even more. And 3 months later, I finally ended the other relationship, but not sure how, but I had my doubts. And I kept lying to him, and I told him that it was done before we started our relationship. Now, 3 years later, as we start getting ready to get married, it's been bothering me so much that I'm keeping this truth from him. But telling him this truth will break him. He has a very low self-esteem, and he has experienced many other issues since he was a child. I know this will completely shatter his heart, and I don't know what to do. Is it okay to keep this truth away from him and still repent to Allah for forgiveness? Okay, I do believe that it is a good thing that you feel badly about hurting someone, about doing something that you know will hurt someone that you know you care about. That's a good thing. We should feel, when we do something wrong, we should feel remorse about it. And remorse is one of the things that can help us not to do it again, because we do feel, we don't feel good about it within ourselves. But I will say this to you: if Allah has hidden your sin, if Allah has protected you, then you do the same thing. If Allah has not revealed you, if Allah has not exposed you, then do not expose yourself. Take this mercy from Allah and do surely show your repentance to Allah, and do what you can to think good of this brother, to say good of him. There are ways that we can show our repentance and our remorse to someone without going to them and letting them know that we have wronged them. If they know it, that's something else. If it's out in the open, you're going to have to deal with that. But if Allah has protected you and He has concealed it, accept the mercy. If He gives you shade, accept the shade. And again, I am not telling you at all, I don't want anyone to think that I am saying to be deceitful. This is not deception, because you cannot fool Allah and you cannot fool yourself. You know the truth, and Allah knows the truth. You handle it, and you correct your behavior. You show your remorse in other ways. But no, if you know something is going to hurt someone like that, for what reason would you tell them if they don't know? Unless it was something that they needed to know. Sure, we all sit here and say, yeah, I would want to know. Do you need to know? If it is going to change the entire dynamic of the relationship that you have with this person, for what reason would you bring it into it? If you have been successful in maintaining this relationship, you are getting now to the point where the two of you are about to get married. You said you were planning your nikah. If you are there, why would you do something to devastate it? Allah hasn't done it, don't you do it. Okay? So that is my advice in regard to that. I'm going to go and I'm going to make sure that I don't have any questions that came in through About Islam while we have we been together this little short time today. Okay, so far I'm not seeing oh, you're in Kashmir. Glad to have you with us, Shahid. Thank you for joining. Wa alaikum salam. Omar. All right, so I'm not finding any additional questions. Inshallah, I'm hoping that you have gotten something today that will be of some benefit to you. And if you have, surely it comes from Allah. Thank you so much for joining. We will be back here again. You know, About Islam goes live all the time. I get so excited when I get my About Islam notification, excuse me. I get so excited because there are so many things that you can learn from just this one Facebook page. So please continue coming back, watching the lives, share them with someone else, send in your questions to About Islam, make dua for the Muslims, and I am so appreciative of each of you. I am well, thank you. Thank you for asking. May Allah grant you peace. May He send you people who remind you of Him. May He send you people who help you get to Jannah. And may He send you people that will help raise you in rank in this life and the next. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.